Activate the Inside the ManCave with Johnny Compian.
Game over, bitches.
Inside the ManCave podcast show. Follow me at Johnny Compian on Twitter. Like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Inside the ManCave podcast show. And follow me on IG and Facebook Meta. Man, it's a special day today because we remember and honor one of the greatest guitar players that ever lived. Eddie Van Halen. He was born in Holland in 1957, January 26. He would have been 68 today. So, I want to play a little bit of Eddie to get started because it's the right thing to do, right?
They sent the sheriff down to try and drive us away. We were sitting ducks for the policeman. They found a dirty-faced kid in a garbage can.
Yeah, we celebrate Eddie Van Halen's birthday by starting off with a little Van Halen. It's the only way to do it. It's good to be back inside the man cave, chatting with you, talking crap stuff, having a few beers on a Thursday night. So I want to start off talking about my hometown, San Antonio, Texas, where I was born and raised. I love this city. I've seen a lot of changes growing up in San Antonio around the downtown area. I grew up in the east side of San Antonio. And it is in a historical neighborhood. So yeah, there needs to be, in that corner where I grew up, that the house that we own there, my dad and my mother and my brothers, there should be something there because, we love this city. That's why we moved that in that area, and we just saw it like the good and the bad because we lived along that highway. So yeah, you saw a lot of bad stuff, but still, man, it was always great to be around all over town, because I had friends all over the city, here and there, planet here and there. So it was always cool to go to different neighborhoods, playing basketball and, some part in the north side of San Antonio, and then next time playing in the east side, and playing football and the west side, and just doing a bunch of stuff growing up, in the city. And so I try to defend whenever I see articles, this so-called clickbait, that's what I call it. I react to it because it's perfect. It's perfect for what I do, because I'm a little knowledgeable on the history of San Antonio, and I lived here and grew up here, and been in between Austin and San Antonio, but my home is San Antonio. I love it. City boy. So I think it was last week, there was an article that came out, and I talked about it on my live stream on Twitch and on YouTube Live. So you can go back and check that YouTube video where I streamed and I talked about the Alamo Dome again, because it came up. It was the Alamo Dome was listed that it was in the top 10 of the ugliest structures in the country, and I just when I first saw that, I had to click on it. I'm like, clickbait. I fell for it. So I started reading up on it, and they named a lot of different structures all over, and it was funny because I always bash on the dome. I do it, in kind of just not in a hateful way. It's just I just kind of like, I don't know. I felt like it was just a mistake putting up that place. That's the way I feel about it. Excuse me. And so I always jump up and I'll defend it if it needs to be defended. There's something that comes up about San Antonio that needs to be. I'll be one of the first ones to step up and say, "Hey, wait a minute, take it easy. That's my town. Take it easy." But that article that when it came out, I think they were spot on that, because the Alamo Dome it's pretty hideous compared to other stadiums that are out there. Oh, yeah, I mean, there's a couple out there that are kind of borderline ugly, but when they brought that up, I was like, okay, I agree with that one, but it was clickbait to me. Anyway, I mean, what do you guys think about that? Tweet at me at Johnny Compian. Let me know your thoughts on that. On if you think the Alamo Dome is just like an eyesore. And I mentioned this too. I want to stick on topic of the Alamo Dome a little bit, because I brought this up a few times already about the Houston Texans. And it was just a spare thought in my head one night when I was up streaming, and I just blabbed it out, and I was like, I thought about it. I was like, man, that makes sense. That would be really cool if that happened. If the owner of H.E. Butt would step up and negotiate with the owners of Houston Texans and say, hey, look, I'll buy them from you. They'll still be in Texas. They'll be down the road. We can still share the team. And then H.E. Butt, he can spring for a freaking stadium. Man, we sell out of groceries. If you say flood, if you say cold, ice, snow, everybody's running to H.E. to buy everything off the shelves. And that's a fact. So you can't tell me that he does not have that money to buy the Texans and a stadium. He can make that money back in a year, I guarantee you. The way we eat around in this city. I think that makes sense. Anyway, I want to get back on topic, because I wanted to bring that point in because of the dome. Because I said, if H.E. Butt built a stadium and he puts it right and drops it right over the Henry B. Gonzalez place or whatever that, just right next to the dome that's across the highway, and make it bigger. H.E. Butt can make a huge ass stadium that's bigger than the dome and looks better. It's retractable roof, better than the one in Vegas. Oh, something with a retractable roof. Oh, yeah. He can afford that. Start pitching that. If anybody knows H.E. Butt, start saying, hey, some guy on a podcast was saying that you should buy the Houston Texans, and it just, somebody get it to him. I'm sure that somebody can get the word across to H.E. Butt about buying the Houston Texans. So get on that. I'm going to keep talking about that. Anyway, back to San Antonio. Enough of the dome. It's one of the 10 ugliest in the world. Yeah, I agree. Clickbait. I clicked on it, and it, I was right the whole time because I always bash on the dome. Needs to go away. So I was like, okay, I'm done with that. And I saw another article come up from the same outlet. And I'm like, clickbait. I saw the headline, San Antonio among the dirtiest cities in the U.S., according to a new study. And another place that I hate with a passion, Houston, Texas, took the top spot. I've been right about Houston the whole time. It is the dirtiest place in the U.S. And I'm laughing because San Antonio was there too. I think Detroit. Yeah, it was Houston number 1, Detroit number 4, and San Antonio, Texas number 7. I don't know. I go to Houston here and there, so yeah. I'm not going to comment too much on the Houston because it just speaks for itself. If you're number 1, there's something going on there. And Detroit at number 4, okay. I don't know much about Detroit. I've never been there. Some stuff that I've seen on YouTube. Looks like they got some cool breweries, and they're trying to get it back going. So I don't know. I have no clue. If you know more about Detroit and you want to defend that, we're not the dirtiest. What are you talking about? Then tweet at me at Johnny Compian on Twitter, or just comment on this video and tell me why. San Antonio, I can talk about San Antonio. And number 7, I would have put us up a little bit more. I would have put us right underneath Detroit, because I've seen some people that are just dirty as hell, that have no respect for anything, and just throw their trash out the window. If you're driving down wherever you live, doesn't that annoy you when you're driving, somebody just dropped like a bag of In-N-Out, and the cup and the bag with everything in it, just dump it out when you're done. Just throw it out your window. I've seen that. Even in front of my place, they're throwing stuff. Like some chicken box with strips in it and ketchup everywhere. It's like, man, come on. People just don't care. People are dirty. And I agree with it. When they have Fiesta in San Antonio, it's something that they do in April. And you guys know, you local guys or gals who are listening, we all know about Fiesta, right? You know how it is. We go to Oyster Bay. We go to Nyosa. We used to go to La Semana. That's gone. The carnival, which they had downtown. Now they moved it to the Dome, and they put a big gate around it so they can monitor you. It's horrible. I would never go to Fiesta again. Never. The market always gets crazy. But you see it there too. You see how people are. People will eat their tacos or their turkey leg and they'll just drop it. And there's like a trash can, just a few feet away. I've seen it. I've seen it with my own eyes. So yeah, I do agree that San Antonio is filthy with just people's, and it's hard to say that because I've seen people at the grocery store, or you go to a local Walmart or whatever, and there's dirty diapers that people just throw out on the parking lot. That are, another car comes up, they don't see it, and they step on top of it, and it's disgusting. But it happens because people don't care. And there's trash cans. They put out, trash cans all over the place in all areas, parks, everywhere you go. So don't tell me, oh, there's not. Well, hold on to it. Put it in your back, seat or in your trunk, and throw it in your trash can. That's why we have that service. I can talk about Austin because I've lived there. I've, worked there. I've done, a lot in that city, gone to shows, been around the city. The homeless problem was a huge issue in that city. I mean, you would go down, as soon as you would drive into Austin, there was people camped out everywhere, all over underneath the bridge, right on by 6, all the way down 6 streets outside businesses, up on Congress. And anywhere you would go, there was always a homeless person or 2 or 3 hanging out, throwing stuff, peeing on it was bad. It was people that I've talked to that lived there, and they were like, man, it reminds me of Seattle a little bit. I've been to Seattle, but I've never went into areas. Well, I never saw homeless. This was years ago. But I heard it's really bad. I've seen a few news pieces on it, and they're saying that it's really bad. I don't know how it is now, but there's, that's what I've read and seen and, saw on video about their problem, with the homeless. But like Austin, they have that issue. And I think for the most part, the last time, I looked around, there was not people underneath the bridges anymore. They moved everybody out because every morning I would pull up and, turn it, in a certain street, there was always people there, and they cleared it all out. There was no more people panhandling or anything like that. So they kind of cleaned up a little bit. And when you would go to a show, this is what really got me. So you would go to ACL, or you would go to a show, somewhere in a venue or something, and people were recycling in there. They would put their bottles up, and even at ACL, there's a huge field, and it's always clean. People use the recycling bins and do all they except the restroom areas. They're pretty bad. After 2 or 3 days, it's pretty bad. Anyway, see, I like that. Why can't San Antonio be that more like that? Where we just we throw trash out. I don't need any more. I want to try to hide that I bought this McDonald's, and before I get home, I don't want anybody to know I had McDonald's. I'm going to chunk it out the window. Yeah, that's dirty, man. Diapers. Yeah. I've seen a lot in this city where I agree with that article. So, I'll defend, once again, I want to say that I'll defend San Antonio when, I see something, I'm like, okay, that's not really on there. I don't really agree with that. And I'll defend it. I'll step in and say, hey, this is why, I'm not just saying it because, I wouldn't say that about Houston or Detroit because I've, never been there. But I've been around the city of San Antonio, and I know how people are. So yeah, I agree with that article. I would have put them up, like I said, I put them up right underneath Detroit at number 5. And San Antonio, yeah. You ride dirty, man. So speaking of San Antonio, one of the bands that I've talked about on this podcast, and I disagreed in the beginning on what was going to take place. Them reuniting Pantera with 2 left members because the Abbott brothers have passed on. And I disagreed for the longest time, But then I got excited. I started thinking about it. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, it could be fun. I have to witness it. And then I saw a video, and I was not happy what I saw with Zakk Wylde, but I'm going to give him credit. He talked about it being a celebration. And then I kind of just really took a backseat and said, you know what? He's right. It doesn't have to be just like Pantera. We celebrate Pantera. For those who've seen Pantera live, back in the heyday, you're fortunate and lucky. I know I did a few times. So, seeing this, and Pantera is still one of my favorites. But they were in the news, on the Twitter trending list about them being replaced by the Foo Fighters in some Germany festival that was going on because something that Phil Alsamo had said, I think in the past, and they're like, we don't want him here, or something like that. I don't know. I don't have the details on that story. Anyway, but too bad for them. You get no Pantera. Anyway, so they're doing a tour. They announced their North American headlining tour with Lamb of God. And now that's another band that I dig. I dig me some Lamb of God. I got a lot of their vinyl. I got some stuff signed over here. I'll put the camera over there so you can check it out. Solid band. I've seen them before, but I want to see them now. But they're not coming to San Antonio. Yeah. They're going to play August 18th at Arlington with Metallica on that Friday night. I'm going to try to make that. But it would have been great, to just drive down the road in my hometown and being able to check out Pantera. Right? I would have put them in an intimate place. Hey, only a few can go. That would have been really cool. But that didn't happen. We got passed up. It's going to be Arlington, and then on the 20th, it'll be in Austin, at an amphitheater in Austin. So I can't miss that either. I have to be there. But I just hate the fact that San Antonio always gets the shaft. I want to get to the bottom of this. We're all excited right now because the Dome announced that the Red Hot Chili Peppers will be coming to headline at the Dome. And yeah, there's a lot of people that were excited. And I'm sure that the people that were excited were the people who attended ACL, what was it, last year, when the Red Hot Chili Peppers played twice in 2 weeks. Yeah. So, and then we're excited about like Pink playing at the Dome. Right? No. I mean, we could do better than that. What is going on? What happened to the metal scene in San Antonio? Oh man. I don't want to be concerned and be like, what happened? What happened to our city? But I'm concerned about San Antonio's music scene. I think we've taken a back seat once again to Austin because they're getting all the good stuff, man. I mean, what the hell? That right there is not cool. Yeah, I mean, I have to get to see Pantera. Of course, I'm going to try to go to Arlington, and I'm going to go to Austin and see him. Why not? Pantera, regardless, lots of drinking, and everything else that comes along with that Pantera attracts to their shows. I have to be there. I have to witness it. But why not in San Antonio? Wow, okay. Why can't we have some of that in our city? Dang. That pisses me off. Yeah, I don't want to think about it too much because it's going to piss me off even more. Every time I think about that, we get passed up and we get Pink and the Red Hot Chili Peppers at the Dome. Okay. I feel like those shows should have been at the AT&T Center. But doesn't matter. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on and checking out my podcast. You can follow me at Johnny Compian on Twitter. And you pass the word around to your friends, your neighbors. Just talk about this podcast. Spread the word, man. I started with nothing. It continues to be nothing. And it makes me happy to be that way. I don't care if I get one view on this video. That's probably what I'll do, like 12 views. So I'm used to it. It's cool. I like talking to myself. I reached out to a friend of mine who I used to work with in radio, and a very familiar voice in the San Antonio airwaves, and he's doing something really cool. Very inspiring to see him at work or in his zone. Very interesting artwork that he does, and how he gets it together, and how he does his whole deal. We chatted a little bit earlier, and he's gonna come on here. He'll be on this podcast. We just got to set up a date, and he's been on the road doing stuff. I'm not gonna mention his name yet. I'm gonna try to do a thumbnail, kind of promo, do a little promo on it, and then put it all over Facebook and IG and Twitter. So, we'll either do it live. We'll do like a live stream. Or maybe, have him like, hey, because he's this talented where we could be talking, and I'm sure we could be doing it, doing the interview on Zoom. Or hell, we just invite him in here there's plenty of room in the ManCave, and he can set up, man, and he can paint while we're doing the podcast and talk about everything that he's doing and some of the road stories. I mean, we were chatting a little bit, and man, I can't wait to have him on here and catch up with him. He's a brother. Love him to death. I can't wait to let you know who it is, but subscribe to the channel so you'll know when, I'm doing these kind of interviews, because I'm already reaching out to a few people. And he's the first one. I reached out and definitely, boom, yes, I'll do it. Let's collaborate a little bit and get a game plan, and then, get together. And that's what is going to go down. So I can't wait for that to happen. And we can have some fun, and talk about the radio days when we worked together, and whatever else that comes up, man. I mean, this, it's going to be awesome. I appreciate you guys listening and supporting my podcast. And remember, there's you got to sleep with one eye kind of open tonight, because there's an asteroid that's going to get really close to the Earth tonight. You might feel it. And there was another story I wanted to get to, but I'm going to save it. And it's about the Earth. The Earth. How the core started rotating the opposite way and it stopped. Ooh. How do you feel about that? We'll talk about that one next on the next Inside the Man Cave podcast show. Tweet at me at Johnny Compian on Twitter. And you can also support the podcast show on anchor.fm/Johnny5150.